He steps into the subway car like someone who already knows how the night will end. He notices details most people miss, the small signs that reveal where someone has been and where they are going. A woman across from him carries herself like a musician. The faint marks on her fingers give it away. Cello, not violin. She is surprised when he guesses it, more surprised when he knows she has a performance tonight. A brief exchange turns into an invitation, a drink after the concert. She agrees. For a moment, everything feels ordinary. He later explains that his life has been full of moments like this. Love found and lost. Wars fought. Death seen up close more times than he can count. But his story does not really begin there. It begins 200 years earlier, aboard a ship where a sick man is labeled property and ordered thrown into the sea. A doctor refuses to let it happen. A gunshot rings out. He falls into the water. Something changes that night. He does not die the way others do. He still feels pain. He still bleeds. But every time death claims him, it never lasts. He always returns, always in water, always naked. The pain is real. The dying is not. He does not know why it happens or how it works. He only knows that it never stops. Eternity, he has learned, is not a gift. It is a sentence. In the present, he works at the New York City Medical Examiner's office, surrounded by bodies that do not come back. He studies death not out of fascination, but necessity. If there is a way out of his condition, he believes it will be found there. The city provides no shortage of cases. When a subway train crashes, killing everyone in the first car, he is one of the few survivors. He experiences something new. Death by train. Another data point in a very long record. The official story says the conductor died of a heart attack before the crash. The explanation feels too clean. When the body arrives at the morgue, he notices details others overlook. Foam in the lungs, signs that do not match a natural death. Poison becomes a possibility. That single observation shifts the case from accident to homicide. It also draws attention he does not want. A detective named Joe Martinez watches him work. She notices how quickly he knows things, how confidently he speaks about the dead. He notices things about her, too. A wedding ring worn on a chain, recent grief, a life disrupted. Neither says it out loud, but both understand that loss has shaped them. Then the phone rings. The caller knows his name, knows he was on the train, knows he survived. The voice on the line is calm, almost pleased. It tells him he has been searching for someone like him for a very long time. Someone who does not die. The line goes dead, but the message is clear. His secret is no longer safe. His oldest friend urges him to run, to disappear as he has done so many times before. New city, new names, same pattern. But this time, he hesitates. The caller did not just want to kill him, he wanted to prove something, and whatever comes next will not stop if he turns away. The poison confirms his suspicion. Aconite, fast, brutal, precise. He proves it the only way he can, by injecting himself with the toxin taken from the conductor's blood and letting it kill him. The pain hits immediately, burning through his chest and lungs, nerves screaming as his body shuts down. Then, as always, he comes back. The answer is instant. The killer wanted speed. He wanted certainty. He wanted proof. The motive becomes clearer once the trail is followed backward. The conductor killed a woman years earlier when she fell onto the tracks. An accident, officially. Her husband never accepted that answer. A former chemist, methodical and patient, he waited. When the same conductor returned to the rails, he acted. The train crash was collateral. The real purpose was the poison, the experiment, to see if one man could survive what no one else could. The threat ends, but the unease does not. The anonymous caller resurfaces, leaving clues instead of hiding. Old paper, a mathematical inscription, a message designed to be noticed. The killer wanted attention, not from the police, from him. Every step is calculated to keep him engaged, to pull him deeper into a game he did not agree to play. While that shadow lingers, another case lands on his table. A young woman jumps from a bridge. Witnesses saw it happen. The police call it suicide. He does not. The details argue back. The fractures do not match a voluntary fall. The angle is wrong. The marks under her nails tell a different story. Someone else was there. Against orders, the investigation continues. The victim was a graduate student, brilliant and driven, working on an ancient manuscript layered with forgotten lives. Her future was planned. Paris, publication, momentum. None of it fits with despair. The closer they look, the more the suicide unravels. Suspicion falls on her professor, an older man with a secret relationship and a fragile marriage. The evidence appears solid. DNA, lies, opportunity. He is arrested and the case begins to close. But something feels off. The crime required planning, not impulse. Precision, not emotion. The professor is broken, not cunning. The truth surfaces too late to prevent another death. The real killer reveals herself. The professor's wife. Overlooked, dismissed. Intelligent enough to understand the manuscript. Patient enough to plan around it. She staged the jump, framed her husband, and silenced him when the lie began to crack. The motive is not jealousy. It is erasure. If she cannot have her life back, no one else will have theirs either. The confrontation ends in violence, a knife, a gunshot. He takes the blade to the neck to save another life, trusting his body to do what it always does. He survives again. The killer is arrested. The case closes. Justice, at least on paper, is served. But the larger question remains unanswered. The caller returns one last time. No longer hiding his intent. He claims to share the same condition, the same endless existence. He is older, far older, 2,000 years by his own count. He calls himself Adam. He says they are the same, and he promises they will meet. The line goes dead. The city moves on. He does not. Life continues around him, indifferent to how many times he has ended and begun again. Another body arrives at the morgue, an older man killed during a street robbery. At first glance, it looks simple. Blunt force. Theft gone wrong. But the body contradicts the story. The muscles are dense, the bones strong, the heart flawless. The brain, however, is decaying, riddled with damage that does not belong in a body this young. The man was aging backward in one place and forward in another. Something artificial was keeping him alive, while destroying him at the same time. The trail leads to a private clinic, promising youth, vitality, renewal, expensive treatments, exclusive clientele. The language is seductive. Live longer, feel better, stay young. He recognizes the desperation immediately. He has lived long enough to see it repeat itself in every era. People will believe anything if it delays the end. The doctor running the clinic is not a doctor at all. His past is littered with closed facilities and unexplained deaths. The formula he sells is a crude imitation of real science, hormones and compounds pushed beyond safe limits. The body responds. The brain does not survive the cost. When the fraud is exposed, the clinic collapses, and the illusion dies with it. Through it all, the voice of the caller lingers. Adam, immortal, older than history. Unlike him, Adam does not search for meaning or escape. He has accepted eternity and grown cruel inside it. Where one seeks a way out, the other seeks control. He watches from a distance, studying reactions, waiting for the right moment to step closer. The difference between them becomes clear. One still cares about victims, about truth, about moments that matter. The other sees life as repetition, humanity as noise. Adam mocks hope. He calls it childish, says the first centuries are easy because belief still survives. The days blur together, case after case, death examined with precision and restraint. He notices that what unsettles him most is not violence or decay. It is predictability. When life stops surprising you, time becomes heavier than grief. Eternity dulls the senses unless you fight it. A realization takes shape. He may never be free of his condition. He may never unlock its origin or end, but he can choose how he exists within it. He can keep involving himself, keep caring, keep allowing loss to matter, even if it never stops coming. Adam calls again, casually, almost fondly. He suggests a meeting someday. No rush. Time is abundant. He says they are inevitable. Two immortals bound to cross paths again and again. The threat is not immediate. It is worse. It is patient. He ends the call without an answer. Outside, the city moves forward, unaware of the things buried beneath its rhythm. He returns to his work, to bodies that tell stories without words, to lives that end even when his does not. He understands now that death is not the opposite of life. Indifference is. As long as he still feels loss, curiosity, and hope, something inside him remains alive. His curse does not define him. What he chooses to protect does. His name is Henry Morgan. His story is a long one, and it is not over.